Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and knock this out. Alright, first question. If I was trying to do 50 push-ups in a row for a fitness test, would a weighted vest be a good way to train for it? Not necessarily, no. Because what is it that we need for something like a very high rep body weight movement like that? You need baseline strength, and then you need endurance. So what would be the best way to build your chest strength up? Well, doing free weights. You should be lifting weights. Realistically, weights and weightlifting are generally our foundation of strength training. Okay? That's our foundation. You should be doing upper body movements, bench pressing, rowing, things like that. Build your upper body up in your pecs and triceps and the stability muscles involved. Get as strong as possible on that. Okay? A guy at the same body weight, a guy who benches 250 pounds can probably do a lot more push-ups than a guy who benches 150 pounds if they weigh the same amount. Okay? Get stronger. And then as far as the weight vest goes, no, not necessarily. I would say you need to just build your strength stamina up on push-ups. I would do high rep push-ups. So build your baseline strength and then train specifically with specificity for the thing that you are trying to improve. Right? If you want to improve your 5K run time, you should probably do 5K runs. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Not saying you shouldn't do other sorts of running, but that would be a good idea. Same thing here. Start working up to building up to 50 push-ups. And quite frankly, that's not a super hard goal. It's not a super hard goal to work for unless you weigh a lot or you're weak. So I would almost ask, what is it you're doing this for? I'm assuming this is for a job, right? This is for you work in some sort, you have some sort of career in mind where they test your push-ups. In which case, go for it. That's what I would recommend. Easiest way to get there. Just get generally strong and then work on doing push-ups. All right, next question. Do you have a PR max you want to achieve before you turn 50 years of age on the squat, deadlift, bench press? Thanks, bro, and happy lifting. Yeah, I guess you probably missed the memo on these. The overhead press, I don't have a specific goal. Like right now, it's just not on my radar. For me, overhead pressing is a supplemental lift, a hypertrophy exercise to improve my benching. Okay, I'm not overly concerned with primary strength on it. I have no goals. The squat and the deadlift. The squat and the deadlift, my goals are 700 on both. And the 700 is for a reason, especially since you said 50. And it shouldn't be hard to figure out. Look at my weight, the weight classes I tend to compete in, and look at the all-time, all-federation world record for non-tested squat. What is it? For the 220, the 100 kilo Masters 2, which is I qualify for in a year, less than a year now. Okay, so it's 45 to 49. The world record for all federations without wraps is 699. Now you guys are already seeing me past 600 there. So that's the world record. I'm not even talking about national records and stuff. I have no doubt I'm going to be able to knock some of those down. But we talk world record across all federations at 699. That's why I chose 700. That's why I chose 700. Because that would be a world record. And no one would be able to contest that because they can't say, well, there's another federation in that same weight class. No, it doesn't matter. World record. Go to open powerlifting. Deadlift 700, mainly just because I've always wanted a 700 deadlift. I've never gotten there before. You know, it's always eluded me. I feel like if I can get my squat up to that level, I should be able to get my deadlift up to that level too. Right? My deadlift should trail along. So if I'm going to set a 700 squat, you know, 700 deadlift is reasonable. Who knows? We'll see where the deadlift lands, but I think that's a good target to aim for. You guys have seen me pull 625 off a deficit. We'll keep getting stronger. Try to get up to the 700. And I think the 700 deadlift is the most obtainable out of any of these goals, by the way. For anything for me personally, that is the one that I think will be the easiest for me personally to reach. My tough one, my hard one, 405 bench. I have not been able to bench 405 at any point after my 20s. Not been able to. Most of you guys have seen me do is 352 a couple times with a close grip. I'm going to keep working towards it. I want to reach towards that 405. It's going to be hard. I would say that it's good. Believe it or not, for me, because of my structure and my leverages, a 405 bench press is actually probably going to be harder than the other two goals. As funny as that sounds, even though one of those goals would be a world record goal, and the 405 bench would not be a world record, not even close. For me personally, due to genetics, structure, leverages, that's going to be the hardest one to reach. And if I can get to that, I will be absolutely thrilled. I would be absolutely thrilled if I can do that. But that's what we are going to reach for, and I'm going to aim for it. I'm going to keep working towards it. I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm determined I'm going to do it. I don't have a time frame. I just have to keep working, and not worry about it. Not worry about the light at the end of the tunnel on that one. Just get in and just do the work. And the press, like I said, I don't have a goal. I don't know. 135 for 3 sets of 20. There we go. All right, next question, last question of the week. Discuss the validity of BMI. That's body mass index. This is pretty straightforward. It has validity. All right, let's step back and assess what we know about BMI. For non-athletes, non-strength training people, like in other words, people who are not very serious, it is absolutely can impact health markers. Okay, this is not subject to debate. All the overwhelming amount of research and meta-analysis tells you if your BMI reaches a certain threshold, your health will absolutely be compromised as a result of it. Now, what that doesn't mean, and this is where we get into the debates and discussions, that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Okay, it doesn't mean that you should hate yourself. But it does mean that your health is at risk, right? Kind of like the whole point I could make there when people talk about health at every size. Health at every size is nonsense. What their message should be is, you should probably love yourself at every size. And if you love yourself, you're going to work towards your health. That's a better way to phrase it. Okay. Now, people will say, well, what about people who lift? That is a more nuanced topic. That does not mean that it's a free ride. In other words, when we start getting to really high BMIs, people bring that up with me. And any clowns can argue about my body fat all they want. My body fat is not considered high by any medical standard outside of the weird bodybuilding fetish world. Okay? However, I do have a high BMI. So, we should probably discuss that, because that's not a free pass because I have a lot of muscle. Just because your body fat's in a healthy range and your BMI is high, that's not guaranteed to be a free pass, that there are no health consequences, and let's discuss why. Now, we know medical experts. When I lived in the UK, the NHS just had a disclaimer for that. Like weightlifters, rugby players, stuff like that, they disregarded BMI unless it became really, really high. They're like, look, they don't have the same health problems. And that's true. You do not have the same metabolic risk. If you carry an extra 35 pounds of muscle tissue, and that's the reason your BMI is high, but your body fat itself isn't that high, it dramatically offsets. And I mean dramatically offsets the health risk. There are no metabolic concerns, right? In other words, anything blood sugar related and oftentimes fatty liver, all these things, those go away. Can it still be stressful on the heart? Okay. Can it still be stressful on the heart? The answer is yes. Is it as stressful as someone who is obese in there? No. But it still puts extra stress on your heart and your body. There can be health consequences to that. It's not a free pass. And the main reason why, people would say, but you know what? It doesn't make sense because all the muscles and everything, they help with blood flow. Muscle tissue actually helps with blood flow. Okay, it helps pump blood. And a lot of people are not aware of that. It actually helps your heart. All these other things are like, so, and if you have all these improved blood markers because of the extra muscle and that better insulin sensitivity, why is that? Well, because everyone who has a high BMI from lifting weights, who isn't carrying a lot of body fat, because there are substances that are required to get there. You can only get so big with weightlifting. And I can promise you, no one's walking around at a 32 BMI at 15% body fat who is clean. And there are risks. There are risks to putting exogenous hormones into your body, right? Anabolic drugs, PEDs, there are risks associated with them. Those risks have been enormously and massively overblown by the media, but they carry risk, and those risks are real. And the more of them that people use, or the certain genetic factors they have that could predispose them to worse risks, the higher the risk gets. Like with everything else, the poison is in the dose, based upon the individual. So the fact of the matter is, to get a high BMI from purely muscle gain can't be done natural. So we can't say, oh, if you're walking around with a 32 BMI, but you've done it purely through exercise and training, well, that's a misnomer, because you haven't. Right? You haven't. And that's just being honest. So we have to be honest about that. So it's the fact that we've also generally seen, various drugs involved. To get there carries a degree of risk. It's not like a death sentence. It's not anywhere near as bad as being just morbidly obese, but the risk is real. And so therefore BMI, any way we spin it, still has validity as a tool for predicting health outcomes. Okay? It does. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.